Joining us on the pod for our soccer segment, it's BC, Clay, and Brandon Henry, a new guest on the pod. Welcome.
Hi, nice to be
Hey,
here.
how's it going?
It's going great. Do you know who it's not going great for? Manchester United. I love it, BC. Help me out, guys. Manchester United spent heavy in the transfer market. They got Jose Mourinho, who knows how to win the Premier League. What is wrong with Manchester United this year?
You know,
No, you go.
I think we're just missing those key players like we used to have that just wanted it. You know, we used to have winning teams that were just stacked in every position, and now we just have we have Ibra, Pogba. We're not playing Rooney,
He's a ball boy.
and Sir Alex. We need a manager that's going to push these players to the next level. And I think that's,
You don't get that with Mourinho?
not like Sir Alex. There's not another manager like him that it's going to push players like he did.
All right, that's fair.
I mean, you can try and replace him, but ultimately, in the end, there's no way there's never going to be another Sir Alex. But yeah, there's not the same drive that there used to be. There's not the same fight, but you can tell this year, it's they're really giving it a go. So, I mean, with the win today, can't argue with that. But the
Right.
debauchery the other day, I don't know what happened.
You need that, what we had today in English Cup, you need that for the Premier League.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know how you can tell when someone was good at their job after they left? Does your organization, does your team, do they fall off? Or do they even improve after you've left? With Sir Alex Ferguson, we've seen a complete drop off. Some even inherited the same squad. It's not the same. You can't replace Sir Alex Ferguson. He is what's missing from Manchester United. I don't know if Manchester United will ever be the same. I miss on television watching him point to his watch, Fergie time. He always had that belief that Manchester was going to come back. They're missing that swagger, the star power, stars just stepping up in general. I think for a while now, just qualifying for Champions League is what's reasonable for Manchester United.
I'd like to agree with that statement, as well as you even look at like NBC, like every Manchester United game, you get around the 80th, 85th minute, they always find a way to find Fergie in the crowd and point him out.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, it's a topic of discussion. Like, why is Jose Mourinho not doing something like important for the team? Like, why is he not like making or putting out the correct squad to have a winning record? That's just me on my side of it. Clay and Henry, they understand United more, like in their history and what they expect in their
Right.
level of play. But like that's just something.
But you're
I
bringing a
noticed.
good outsider's perspective.
Yeah, it's just something you notice, like that small like detail. Like even people that have seen Fergie when he was the manager, and then now that he's stepped down, they see a difference, and they like to point it out. So.
And I mean, having the same manager for 25 years, you just don't really see that in sports. Having the same guy. So I think we're really missing that presence and kind of like a goal not just to win a game, but when Sir Alex Ferguson first came in, his goal is to surpass Liverpool. And now we've done that. So now we're just looking for that set goal.
Now what's next?
What's next? What's going to push us to be Manchester United, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you have Sir Alex as a manager, it's an entirely different mentality. You come in thinking, this is the greatest soccer mind to ever, or most likely ever live, and I'm playing for him, and I gotta 100% give it my all. But like Mourinho, Van Hall, or even like Arsene Wenger, they're fantastic managers, but they're not the same caliber. You get a different mentality coming into it, and you view like you almost can not give it your all. I guess you could say. I understand they're professionals, but it's just different.
Right, you have good managers, and then Sir Alex is just elite. No one else. I think maybe Johan Cruyff, maybe.
He's on a whole new level.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at Wenger and you can talk about him, but like if you even tried to put Sir Alex Ferguson and Wenger on like on
can't.
a
You can't.
scale, like it would be like so high up
Uh-huh.
for Sir Alex, like it's stupid. Like being an Arsenal fan, like he's 20 years, Sir Alex was 25, but it took Sir Alex Ferguson less time to push his team to their peak, winning Premier Leagues, winning Champions League, winning domestic cups. But I already know what Henry's gonna say.
I think the difference between 25 years with Sir Alex and 20 years of Arsene Wenger is success.
playing.
You've never seen signs saying, out with Sir Alex like Arsenal with.
That's true.
They're just done with Wenger.
Yeah, that's true.
To finish this segment, what will it take and can Manchester United get back to being the Manchester United that we loved watching?
Gabe, I don't really know if there's an answer to that question. We play well. We just, besides Chelsea, we've done pretty well. We play to club's levels. Like, we play a bad team, we're gonna play bad. We're gonna stoop to their level.
Mm-hmm.
Today we held a City, and they're top of the league. So I don't really know what it's gonna take.
I think it's a wait and see type of game. I know each time we've had a new manager, and let's wait and see what they do. I mean, Sir Alex came in, first year was absolutely god awful, but look at what he's created. But Jose is up there. He's one of the best managers in the world. You gotta just let him craft United his way and let him do it his way, exactly to the books, and we'll see what he can do for us.
I feel like the club and all their fans are so used to Sir Alex. So when Louis van Gaal came in and David Moyes came in, it wasn't to their standard because they know what success came before them.
Mm-hmm.
So those were like two average managers coming from like average clubs and everything. And you see the clubs that Jose Mourinho has managed. I think they haven't seen that, and they're not ready. I wouldn't say not ready, but it's hard for them to learn with him and just kind of get on his page and how he wants to build a team, so that obviously the fans appreciate it. They get the wins
Right.
that they need and everything like that. So
Let's move on. What's wrong with Manchester City? They lost 4-0 against Barcelona. It wasn't even really that competitive. But in English play, they're fine. They're fine. Pep says he's not going to change anything. I think he'd rather lose doing it his way. What's to explain Man City?
I mean, in your last 6 games, you've had a loss, a draw, a loss, a draw, and a loss.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really just realizing how big of a beast the English game is. But one word for you, Messi. You can't compete.
honestly,
that's
I think
fair.
I think it was Bravo's handball, like that. That struck a red card.
Yeah.
At the time, it was only 1-0 Barcelona. After that, Caballero came in. Messi scored his next 2. And then a missed penalty by Neymar, and then he finally scored his. So
So that one moment is the difference for you?
without a doubt, you take off an attacking player because obviously the red card. You take out Bravo and you put in Caballero, who's always been behind Joe Hart, and is now behind Bravo, who was just signed. I think that was the changing moment. I didn't watch the game, but I'm assuming
So you
it
think,
might have been even.
are we reading too much into that game, the 4-0 loss?
I mean, United just lost 4-0. We just came back and beat City.
Yeah,
Okay. It's a long season.
I think Pep Guardiola just he built a monster that not even he could defeat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of emotions were going to that game with Claudio Bravo playing against his old club, Pep facing Barcelona. It's very high.
Just how they bounced back. I mean, a couple years ago, Real lost 4-0 to Barca also, and they came back, and I mean, obviously they're winning Champions Leagues again.
Okay, that's fair.
But to be fair, Manchester City's never been a Champions League team. I
Right.
think the farthest they've ever made it was like the semifinals. they just don't compete. I think they sell players and buy players like it's nothing. So it's hard for those players to build relationships and
it's like the players that have built relationships, like some may be injured, some are, feeling like their role is being fulfilled, like on the team and where they're being selected in the squad and everything like that. So it's kind of like you let the players come in, they build a relationship, and then you're just like, I'll toss them out of here. It's money in my pocket now. Let's go out and let's go buy bigger players. Let's try and build this club up, but it doesn't work like that.
Right, you need the chemistry.
yeah, I mean, yes, they're professionals, but they go to the locker room just like we do and have fun. They're out there to play the game they love.
I wonder what you guys think about this. I think soccer managers, especially here in the United States, try to superimpose their philosophy on the game, and they're not willing to change to their players to what would best fit their team. And I think a sign of a great coach, a great manager, is a willingness to change, to improve. I think that's part of the flaw of Pep, and for Pep in international play, and for Mourinho this year at United. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's generally most managers. It's my way or the highway. Get out. Mata at Chelsea, Mourinho sent him out, and he went into United and looked at him. He's a completely different player, and now that I think Mourinho's realizing what how much of an asset he can be. He's awesome. I absolutely love seeing him out there, and like just Pep. I mean, you see him going to Bayern. I mean, you see Pep going from Bayern to City. His Bayern team was like scary. Wouldn't want to face them in our best form almost sometimes, but like the willingness to change it needs to be there, and then I think that's really what sets the great ones from the goods.
Is that part of Arsene Wenger's flaw, you think, especially in the transfer market?
I don't
It's
know.
kind of like a vice versa. He just doesn't want to really bring in new players. He hit gold with Ozil, but besides that, what else does he have?
Yeah, like he's kept Theo's been there ever since he signed with them. He gets like these small players, like, and he thinks like that's like the key. So like he tries to fill in like the missing roles.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
And it's like, let's pick up Mustafi. He's gonna have a relationship with Ozil and Mertesacker since Mertesacker's out. And then he picks up Lucas Perez, thinking that that's gonna be the striker that we need. But I'm pretty sure he said the same thing about Alexis Sanchez when he brought him in. And don't get me wrong, it's not like Alexis Sanchez coming from Barcelona was a terrible deal or anything like that. He's basically the manager saying it's my way or the highway, and the owners will stick with him because he's stayed within the top flight of the Premier League. He stayed within Champions League for all those years. But it's the fans that are saying he's got to go. Like, I'm tired of having every season go Christmas time. Like, we're
Right.
top of the table, but, like, at the very end, like, third and fourth, like, oh, yeah, nice, another Champions League spot, cool.
Here's the thing with Arsenal and what Arsene Wenger does. He gets players that already are good at what they're already good at. They're small, crafty, skilled. You need that on a team, yes. What does he not get? Maybe a Moron Fellaini, a Schneiderlin, just someone with muscle in the midfield or in the back of the defense, some grit. Shout out Jeff Panic.
We're leaving that in there.
But someone that can bring a little muscle so that Arsenal doesn't get bullied around and pushed around. It's great when you have these crafty players, but Arsene Wenger, especially with the Premier League and how long it lasts,
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that Arsene Wenger could improve upon.
You always see him coming out of the gates, fantastic, and can't go the long run.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like we rely on. In my mind, it's like two people that are like the muscle players. It's Koscielny, and then sometimes if he's in there, it's Coquelin. I mean, both you guys probably don't recognize this game, but when I watch the Arsenal games, he's one of those CDMs that stays home and makes those almost dirty tackles. To
He's the
when they-
enforcer.
yeah,
Every team needs a player that just has their presence known on the field. I mean, United's really been lacking that. I mean, Ibra does it. Last player I've seen really for United have a presence on the field that was like, oh crap, better watch out for this guy. It's probably about Vidic.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
I miss
the name
Vidic.
brings goosebumps up.
All right, moving on. Arsenal and Man City are at the top of the EPL right now. BC, will it stay that way?
No.
Why not? Who wins it?
I don't. I still don't know. I
Oh,
I don't-
okay.
I
It's too early to tell
I
right now.
probably said it 2 weeks ago. It's one of the hardest. It's literally one of the hardest leagues in the world. Every fan wants their team to be, top of the table come Christmas time. Come 3/4 of the way of the season, but it all depends on injuries. It all depends on how and who wants it more. But I want it to stay the way it is, or obviously we get above City. But there's other teams that are fighting for it. Liverpool's in there, Tottenham's in there, United's making their way up.
Chelsea.
Chelsea. Conte's finally figuring out the team for Chelsea. Like Hazard's finally, he's not a ghost anymore.
He's back.
He
Like
looked good.
he's honestly
He
truly
looked
back.
good.
And then having Conte transfer from Leicester, he's like another Ramirez. In my mind, he's another box to box midfielder. He knows what he's doing. So I think there's a handful of clubs. There's basically our common top six.
Okay, that's fair.
And it changes.
It hurts to say, but I believe Man City will stay at the top of the table. But Arsenal, not so much. I feel like they're going to do what they do year in, year out. Start so hot, get too comfortable, start to lay back a little bit, and fall right back into fourth place.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
I mean, like I said, they come out of the gates hot. Everyone's loving Wenger. End of the year comes, players are all beat up. They're sitting at the bottom of the big four, and I don't see Arsenal staying up there. I mean, like Henry said, I can definitely see Pep in his I definitely see Pep in his City squad pushing for that title this year. He got it done in Bundesliga. I mean, even though like I said, last 6 games there's no win, but it's a long season and there's a lot of time to do stuff. I'd love to see United win again, but their mediocre play lately, I don't know if it's gonna happen.
And you know what it is though? It's all these domestic cups that the Premier League goes into, FA Cup, English League Cup.
Carling Cup.
Yeah, like the smaller club teams
Yeah.
that are in like the second and like third division sometimes, they want to beat like the living crap out
Oh,
of
yeah.
Premier League teams. And that's what like when they play these big clubs, they see the big names that are on like the team sheet and everything like that, and they just want to pummel them into the ground.
But I feel like that's all these other cups we have is why everyone loves the EPL.
No, that's true.
It
Well, for the
creates-
fan, it's great. For the player, not so much.
And even as a fan, it's great. I mean, you get a chance to watch. I mean, Leicester City. I mean, you have these games where they were all season giant killers. The term giant killers, and the chances throughout a season you get to see giant killers, take on a team. It's the FA Cup, Sterling Cup, and all that.
Speaking of Leicester, they've kind of dropped back a little bit this year.
As expected. I mean,
But their Champions League run hasn't dropped off. But their table is not. It's not very good.
Where are we looking? Are we looking at a top 6 finish for Leicester?
I don't think
Not
so.
even.
Jesus.
Back
Hey,
to
what are you
looking-
doing?
back to reality.
I just
game.
ask questions. That's my job.
They're lucky if they get the top side of the table.
I mean, it was awesome last year. I mean, we'll probably in our lifetime hardly even like remotely see something like that ever happen again.
Well, part of it too was that the top clubs they didn't perform last year, so Leicester was able to rise out from that rot.
I feel like you're taking a lot of credit away from Leicester City. I mean,
Oh no, I'm not trying to, but I'm just saying normally that if Leicester plays like they did last year, any other year, they're looking at a top 6 spot, not winning
Which would
it.
still be amazing for.
Right.
Like they were finding ways to win. Like big clubs, like big name clubs, they know they can win certain games, and then they just like go through the paces. They score the goal. Oh, they score the second one. Let's drop back. Let's just kind of take it slow for the rest of the game. Leicester was pounding on every 50-50.
90 minutes in.
90 minutes in, 90 minutes out, even if you had to go to extra time.
There was so much
You
fun
could just
to
watching
watch.
them. Yeah, you could just see that they just wanted it more than the other team.
I mean, the big clubs, I think they just overlooked them for too long, and then by the time they realized what was happening, it's like, oh,
It's way too
It
late.
was way too late. I mean,
who are they?
remember-
I mean, after you get rid of your rock in the midfield, Conte, what's there left?
I mean, once January hit last year, we were all still talking, oh, do you think Leicester City's going to win the league? And you're like, God, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
There's
like
no
they
way.
were-
There's still too much time left. And they just kept it going.
I'm Vardy. I'm thinking, I messed up. I should have gone to Arsenal.
I wish Leicester would be able to put back their form again from last year. Maybe do they have a run in Champions League, you think, or will that be put to an end round of 16?
Round of 16, it's done.
Round
You're
of
gonna
16.
hit
It's
thick
like
wall.
yeah, like the round of 32, like right now is like you have like the smaller sided clubs of the other leagues that are around there.
Right.
Like depending on what table you draw into. But then like once you get into like the round of 16,
You're playing real teams.
that's like the
Yeah.
top that's the top
Oh.
2 clubs basically of every league that's out there.
You're gonna be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah,
All
just
the Joe
imagine
teams are out by then.
take
It's-
just Leicester against Barcelona. Please to God tell me how that would even line up.
Messi would have a heyday.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you saw it in the summer, but like summer soccer is an entirely different story.
Oh yeah. You can't take too much out of
No.
preseason
No.
soccer.
As we know best.
Yeah, Louis van Gaal won that. What was it? Guinness International Cup,
Yep.
Real Madrid
and
with Cristiano Ronaldo.
we all know how that turned out. Yeah. So for Leicester, I'm looking at a solid semifinal FA Cup appearance. Yeah, that should be exciting, huh?
Wow, that's almost as bad as the NFL segment before this one.
All right. This has been a fun episode on the pod. I love talking soccer. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you, good.
Thanks for having me.